Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zang here, and today I have another commentated VGC 14 battle for you all since you guys are awesome and hit 500 likes on the last video. So let's aim for another 500 on this one to support daily uploads. Anyway, as you know, recently I've been uploading a lot of matches from the Nugget Bridge Dodrio Cup. I just uploaded my top 4 match, and I just want to make a quick announcement. Our team actually advanced to the finals because Matt Coyle won his match. So, not only do we advance to the finals, and we're only one of 2 teams left out of the entire tournament, but we also won invites to the Nugget Bridge Invitational, which is a invite-only 32-man tournament that offers over $1,000 in prizes. It's VGC rules, obviously, and it will be streamed sometime in July on Nugget Bridge's Twitch at twitch.tv/NuggetBridge. So I'll be competing in that along with Ray Rizzo, Matt Coyle, and a ton of other great VGC 14 players. So it should be really exciting. Definitely tune into that tournament when it's online, and I'll update you guys on that as well. Should be really fun. I actually won the first invitational and got 4th in the last one, so I'm excited to be participating in the 3rd one and qualify for it again. But anyway, this was actually round 1 of the Nugget Bridge Dodrio Cup, and our team was tied at 1-1 at that point, so if I lost this one, we would have been eliminated right from the beginning. So you guys know the outcome of the match probably at this point, but it's still a really fun game. You'll see that I'm using Aerodactyl, Scrafty, Charizard, and Ferrothorn. My opponent is using Greninja, Amoonguss, Drapion, and Kangaskhan. Now the Drapion I really didn't know what to expect, but looking in team preview, I saw that Charizard and Ferrothorn would basically sweep my opponent's team. Charizard in terms of offense, Ferrothorn in terms of defense, so I knew if I conserved that correctly, I could easily win the game, especially if Aerodactyl was able to set up a tailwind and Charizard was able to take advantage of that. Of course, Kangaskhan speed ties with Charizard if they're both max speed, and Greninja is very speedy as well, but I know if I can set up a tailwind and Charizard is able to come out at the right time, I should be able to win this pretty comfortably. So let's get into this match. Now, I decided to lead with Scrafty and Aerodactyl because I know Scrafty is a great Pokemon to intimidate both my opponent's leads, and he did have a lot of physical attackers in team preview when I saw his 6 Pokemon, so I assumed it'd be a good lead. Plays out pretty perfectly for me. He goes with Kangaskhan and Drapion, I go with Aerodactyl and Scrafty, and I get an Intimidate off on the Kangaskhan, which is always huge, and Drapion, which I assume was basically a physical attacker. Now, I can safely, fake out, I can Tailwind with the Aerodactyl, and Aerodactyl is probably going to be the speediest Pokemon on the field. I'm not sure whether that Drapion is actually carrying a Choice Scarf or a Choice Band, or even another item. It's really obscure, so I was hoping to find out on this first turn. Now, I do expect the Fake Out from Kangaskhan to go off onto Scrafty, which is why I don't protect with Aerodactyl. That's exactly what happened here. I don't think he would Fake Out the Aerodactyl because my Scrafty would be able to just Drain Punch him, and Kangaskhan never wants to take a Drain Punch. I am able to set up Tailwind successfully. Thinking about it, this probably wasn't the best move just because Scrafty does not invest in speed, so I won't even be able to outspeed the Kangaskhan with it, but whatever. He does go for the Crunch onto Aerodactyl, and that's going to bring me under 50%. That tells me that it is going to be Choice Band Drapion, which is really good to know because I know that he can't touch my Scrafty with it. Now here he goes for a Power Up Punch with Kangaskhan, which I wasn't surprised to see at all. But when I went for the Rock Slide, I said to myself, hey, if I get a flinch this turn, I could probably win the game right there and then, because I either negate Kangaskhan from getting a boost attack-wise, or I let my Aerodactyl stay in the game, avoiding the crunch from that Drapion. So I did call his moves correctly. Now the question is whether I get a flinch on either of his Pokemon, and I do get it on Drapion. I didn't need that, but it definitely put me in a position where I was just in a huge advantage. Had he KO'd me there, he potentially might have been able to, say, Sucker Punch my Charizard, but as a result, I am able to, force a Kangaskhan switch out here, actually, and get a good amount of damage off onto both Pokemon with a Rock Slide and Drain Punch. His Amoonguss actually doesn't carry Rocky Helmet, which is even better for Scrafty, which is able to heal back a bit more. His Drapion isn't going to flinch this time around. It is going to get a Crunch off, and that's going to KO my Aerodactyl. However, as you remember, like I said right before the match started, I knew Charizard Y would be essential in this matchup. Now that I know Drapion is Choice Banded, I know I'll be able to outspeed both of my opponent's Pokemon. That's really good for me, because if he withdraws the Drapion, I'll be able to KO whatever comes in, and you see here Kangaskhan's going to come in. That's exactly what I wanted to see. If he stays in, I'm basically able to KO that, and with the KO on the Drapion, which at that point I assumed had a Fire-type attack since none of his other Pokemon had a Fire-type attack, I knew I'd be able to bring in Ferrothorn and seal up the game, but Kangaskhan and Drapion were the 2 Pokemon, I was aiming to KO here. So I knew I was in a great position when the Kangaskhan did come in because I obviously just went for the Heat Wave, and I am able to hit the Heat Wave here, and I'm going to be able to KO it. So a lot of this is setting up the game properly, When I went for the Rock Slide earlier on, I said to myself, if I get a flinch here, that would basically put me in a position where it'd be really hard to lose, and I did get a flinch on one of 2 Pokemon. Of course, didn't need it, but I'll take that any day, and it helped me a lot for sure. He protects with the Amoonguss here, but, you know, that's perfectly fine. Now here, I don't want to lose my Charizard to, say, a critical hit, like Hydro Pump. Of course, the Sun is up, so that's going to negate the super effective damage, but I don't want to risk it. He does go for the Hydro Pump, which, so I was happy to see that, because obviously I switched to my Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn is a defensive tank. It's not going to do anything to that Ferrothorn, especially in the Sun. Greninja actually has Life Orb, which I'm happy to see, and Scrafty is able to get a Drain Punch off onto Greninja. My Scrafty's not carrying max attack investment, but it still does a whole heck load of a lot to Greninja, because Greninja obviously is just so frail. Amoonguss is going to Spore my Scrafty, which I was happy to see, because hey, Scrafty carries Lumberry. Now, if he went for the Rage Powder there, I wouldn't have really been in too much trouble, since I knew he didn't have the Rocky Helmet, and I knew if he went for the Spore, then I would just wake up with Scrafty, and it wouldn't even affect my Ferrothorn. He goes for another Hydro Pump onto Scrafty, but of course, with the Sun up and with Scrafty being defensively built, it's not going to do very much. I did go for the Crunch here onto Amoonguss because I knew Gyro Ball would be able to KO the Greninja. Crunch actually does a good amount to the Amoonguss. He does carry Citrus Berry, but like I said, at this point, I've got the Charizard in the back to seal things up. He is able to Spore my Scrafty this time around, but Scrafty has done exactly what I needed to do, so I'll take that. It's fine. And I'm not even that worried, since I know the Amoonguss itself can't do too much to Scrafty, so it's really up to the Drapion. I do go for the Gyro Ball into Greninja, and that's going to pick up the KO there. So I take a 3-2 lead, and my opponent's last Pokemon, of course, is Choice Band Drapion, which is somewhat damaged, and enough for a Heat Wave to KO it. So all I need to do is basically get Charizard in and Heat Wave now. Like I said, the Drapion actually does carry the Fire-type attack, which I kind of assumed it did, and I wasn't surprised to see that at all. It's going to take some Iron Barbs damage, and I actually had Rocky Helmet on this Ferrothorn as well, because my Scrafty had the Lumberry. But like I said, at this point, it's just making sure I don't choke it out. I don't want to switch my Charizard in, because all I need to do is get Charizard in safely and go for a Heat Wave. So I'm fine losing Ferrothorn, because I really don't need it at this point. Charizard wins me the game. He actually gets a critical hit, Kick a Drain onto that Scrafty, which is kind of alarming, but it's fine. At this point, he needs a lot of luck on his way to win. You know, he's got to have Heat Wave basically miss both of his Pokemon and then Spore my Charizard, but obviously that's not going to happen there. Fortunately, going to hit my Heat Wave on both his Pokemon. That's going to KO Amoonguss and Drapion, and 2-0 win for me. So I was able to fortunately clutch it off in the first round of the Nugget Bridge Dodrio Cup. It was a really exciting match. Shout out to my opponent, Ovazero, especially for using Drapion. Once again, feel a bit bad for that flinch, but like I said, I knew that if I got it that turn, would put me in a position where it'd be very difficult to lose. So sometimes you just have to play your probabilities. Pokemon's all probability management. That turn I said, you know, might as well go for it, and it worked out perfectly. And Rock Slide's of course a move like you really at this point expect it to either flinch or miss. So it goes one of the two ways, and in that second turn it really helped me out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that match. Leave a like, obviously, if you did. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm really excited to be covering more of Nugget Bridges tournament, especially the Dodrio Cup and the Invitational, which I talked about earlier on in this video. But yeah, definitely follow Nugget Bridges Twitch, and that's it for today's video, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.